Hello, my name is Jack Mead, and I'm about to tell you the craziest story you'll ever hear about a woman by the names of Theresa Lyons, a woman I personally knew from when I was a child, that I not only loved, but I loved her daughter. And the craziest story you will ever hear about how someone has access to military technology and was able to use it on me, was able to set up a complete TAFE course at the Gold Coast Ashmore TAFE, and this stuff goes on for pages, and I'm uploading this to show people that this happened to me. I went to the police, I did everything right, and nothing has happened. Zero has happened, and I want to expose this because this woman deserves to be in jail because she's done some serious stuff to me. Alright, so I'm going to start with this. I'm going to put all this on the computer screen so you can see all this, but it's just going to be reading this. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown. So I, in the start of last year, wanted to start my own landscape construction business where I wanted to start building concrete retaining walls. I did a year of labouring with my best friend, and after that, about 6 months in, I was like, I want to do a TAFE course so I can start my own business so I can start making the money. Long story short, I was able to enroll after the second time doing it, but as I went down there, I live in Boondall, Brisbane, Australia, to get to the TAFE, I had no car, so I'd train there, so I'd get up, go from Boondall to Helensvale Station, which is like a nearly 2-hour trip, get the tram for like 20-30 minutes, then walk 3.5 kilometres to TAFE every single day for two days a week, but for 6 months. Alright, so this is how badly I wanted this. This is how serious this was, because I finally came up with the idea. I can do I found out what I want to do, what I love, and I can make a lot of money doing it. So I'm ready to go hard and do this stuff. So from the first time that I got there, it was like the first days were actually really good. I had no issue with it. It was really good. When I got there, I was a bit disappointed because I kind of wanted to try find a girlfriend there, and like usual, there was just 2 middle-aged Chinese women that, no luck there. But anyways, so into the course, there was a man that was in the course that was a retired veteran from the Australian Defence Force named Andrew Middleton. This guy really liked doing me head in. He loved to joke about, there was times, like at the time I actually quit smoking marijuana, he seemed to like bringing up the subject of marijuana and saying how he used to fly the military helicopters and they used to get stoned and all this other crap. So that was what it first started with. But it wasn't until about probably like 3 or 4 months into the first term was over till stuff started getting really, really weird. So first off, I didn't really learn to actually build a retaining wall there, which is the one thing I wanted to do. We did one timber one at the start, but I didn't remember anything. But the whole point of this video is about how people can literally communicate to you using some sort of, I'm not going to say, there's another bit, some sort of military technology to where they can talk to you and you don't have headphones or anything on. And I'm telling you, I'm going to deep dive into this, and this is pages and pages and pages of how this woman deserves to be in jail, and Andrew Middleton and these people, she's got some sort of control of the Australian Defence Force, and it's crazy, alright? So I'm just going to get into it before it gets too long, because this video is going to be long. Alright, so I'll bring this thing up on the screen. So this happened towards, I don't know, probably like after the first term I went back, and then stuff started getting really bad, alright? So, hello, and this is emailed to the Australian Federal Police, the Army, and even missing persons. This is how scary this was. This is the scariest shit I've ever experienced. Alright. I currently attend TAFE at the Gold Coast Ashmore TAFE for cert-free landscape construction. Could you please investigate, look into the technology being abused/used by this man? Andrew's my TAFE class has been harassing and bullying me the whole time I've been at the premises. I've submitted a report with the TAFE and reported to the Sandgate Police Station current issues that are ongoing with me. I believe this man has shared technology with people who are unauthorised to use it and have been abusing it. I believe this man not only has been abusing this technology, but has taken advantage of it, using it on me. I know this man is using technology to talk to me, but someone else has been using it against me. The past month, I've cut someone communicating through my ear through a certain decibel, not only to try to drive me insane, but take advantage of me. So I'm going to explain this. So someone out there, and I'm going to say Theresa Lyons was definitely one of them, is able to talk to you. So imagine a speaker is able to project sound. So imagine you're in the military. We're in the year 2025. The technology's there. You can beam a piece of sound or whatever, sound, frequency or whatever. But I'm going to say sound, like so. imagine you got a headphone, you put a headphone in. If you had a headphone that was military grade and you had it across the room, it could beam sound into your ear and then you could talk to you without that. So satellite technology, the Army's definitely got it. And yeah, so that started happening to me. People started talking to me. I was literally taken advantage of. I was told stuff was going to happen, all this crazy stuff. I want to get into one thing before I forget about it. So this woman actually used to employ my best friend who I used to work for's partner, who at the time, right, I was going for shit. And look, my old best mate, he wasn't the best person to pay me and stuff like that, and I was in a bad headspace at this time, and I wouldn't get paid all the time because, look, I'm not going to call him an alcoholic, but he loved to gamble, and I wouldn't get paid every single week, and wasn't the best spender, right? So at this time, one day I was walking home from the TAFE. It was pissing down rain, so I already walked to the TAFE. Got to the TAFE, people, just stupid shit I get in class, and people just start tapping on metal water bottles just to drive me crazy. I was there for 10 minutes, soaked wet, because I came all the way from here, and this is how dedicated I was, and I was like, I'm not dealing with this, I'm getting up and leaving. Anyways, on the way home from that, I starts talking to me or whatever, and starts convincing me that her, whatever her name is, and my mate, she actually paid them to not pay me or whatever. So at the time, it was just back and forth, because I can't even really remember all this stuff, but I remember the key points. But look, it was to the point where she convinced me these people were making me work really hard to not pay me because she gave them money. So the point of this is I ended up chucking out not only my work boots, but my work shirt, which was the first work shirt I've ever had in my life that was like in construction and stuff. And that work shirt meant the world to me. And I chucked it in the bin because I was convinced that these people weren't good, like they were bad. And like I could have just messaged them and that, but I'm telling you, if this happened to you, it drive you fucking crazy. Not only that, but I lost my work shirt, which meant the world to me. So fuck you for that, Theresa. But anyways, next I'm gonna go back to this. I understand that you might find this email a complete hoax, but I'd like you to at least look into this. I've been attending the TAFE course with Andrew for the past 6 months, and he's been manipulating and taking advantage of my weaknesses. If you could please look into this, I'd greatly appreciate it. Could you please look into Theresa Lyons? She's been manipulating me, and I believe this woman is behind this. I've been fooled in this whole year into tricking me to believe I'm in love with her daughter, leading me on. I've tried to get a girlfriend my whole life and had zero success and continue to be led on to believe I'm getting with her daughter. So please just look into this. Now, I'm going to explain this, right? So I used to swim with this woman's daughter when we were teenagers, we were like young or whatever, right? So I loved this woman and I loved her daughter. Like, she's a beautiful young lady. But look, the thing is, I have never had a girlfriend. I've been not always very fit, but I've always tried. I've tried courses, tried new things and all these things, all right? So this year was going to be my year that I get my stuff together, and I did. I had everything going, everyone was going my way. Just wanted to make this video, 16th of January, 2024, to say I've finally broken free. I've finally broken free from the bullshit, the lies and deceit this world offers, and I've finally broken free to figure out how to make it. I've figured it out, and by the end of this year I will be financially free and I will be rich, and so will all the people I love and care for, because I'm going to bring them all with me. But I just want to record this because today, like yesterday, I was going to do this video, but I was just too happy. I just knew it, that this year is my fucking bitch, and nothing can fucking stop me. Just wait till this year, end of this year, and I'll be watching this fucking video again, saying, fuck it. Can't still listen. It's going my way. There's lots of stuff I'll still get into, but the point is, at the start of this year, it was the day after my birthday, I think it was the day after my birthday, so the 18th of February, I was actually walking down, like, in the Sandgate area on the bay, and believe it or not, I actually seen this woman's daughter. So, at first, I didn't really think anything of it, but, like, I was like, maybe I can just go up to her and talk to her, because I don't know if she has a boyfriend or anything. And, look, point was, I walked 5k, and then I picked this woman a flower, and I walked another 5k back, and I was going to give it to her, but she wasn't there. So after that, I ended up, if I still got a message with my mate, I'll bring him up, but I ended up texting my mate, and I was like, look, like, because I just was in love with her, and I said, "Oh, I've been I've been in love with the same girl for years and years and years and years. I loved her. I did, because she's a beautiful young lady, and I loved her mother too. I thought Theresa Lyons was a good woman. I really, really did. And point was, I pretty much said, I've got to move on with my life. I can't obsess over her. I don't even see her. I think it was her. I know it was her. The way, when you eye contact with someone, and it's just like that. But yeah, point is, I pretty much was ready to move on. I was like, whatever. So that was that. But anyways, and I was like, please look at this. I'm a normal young man trying to start my own landscaping business. In the past month, I've had to put up with someone trying to drive me insane through technology I cannot explain to the average person. If you could please look into this and see if you could at least try help me, it'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Jack Mead. And then I linked stupid Andrew Middleton's whatever his LinkedIn or business crap is. And please help me. I'm a normal young man just trying to get through life, and I have a really hard time just trying to make it. I understand you might think this is a hoax, but please understand I'm just a normal young man and trying to make it, and I try harder than anyone just to go to TAFE course. So if you could please just look into this, it would be greatly appreciated. So what I ended up doing, I got this, and I got no reply off any of these emails. So you know what I did? I went to my local police station. Well, I went to the one in Sandgate. I went to the Sandgate police station, and old mate there has then told me, look mate, there's actually been similar reports of some people saying something similar, not like with this, but like people talking to him, right? So after this, he said to me, look mate, you're gonna have to go get a mental health check just to prove you're all good. And I'm like, look, all right, I'll do that because I am all good, and this is just the craziest shit to ever happen to me, and like all I wanted to do was start a landscape construction business, and like there's lots more of this. But so look, that night or the next night, right? So I booked in my local doctor. So the doctor I go to has successfully helped me with a lot in life, and I mean a lot. So this doctor, right? So I went to this doctor, and I couldn't get in with my main one. And then so I've gotten in with this doctor, and pretty much I've walked in there and started talking to him, and I'm like, I need a mental health check or whatever, just to get a mental health check. Just can you run a test or whatever you want to do? So out of nowhere, or something like that, he started bringing up like schizophrenia and all this stuff, people talking to you and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, I didn't bring up anything to reference to that, which was extremely dodgy. But the thing is, he still gave me it, because I'm telling you right now, he just started bringing this stuff up, which it's crazy. So this. I'll put all these up in the thing, but it's not regular GP dodgy doctor. And this is the 23rd of the 5th, 2024. This is certified today. I've examined Jack Mead, blah, blah, blah. Tells me he will... Oh, yeah, so, gonna jump back here a quick bit, all right? So, I was actually... I was with one of my friends, right? So, actually, look, I'm gonna bring up this bit before this, right? So, I was with one of my friends, and this was happening to me at the time, but I sort of just ignored it, right? But we ended up hanging out in the city for the day, and I ended up going to dinner with him, and we ended up having a couple of drinks. But anyways, we ended up at the McDonald's, which, so this is where it was a bit, how you going, all right? So we're at the McDonald's at Sandgate, and when we were in the Sandgate, right, McDonald's, right, we were sitting there, just whatever, and then there was me, him, and then there was these two guys and two girls, I think, and then one of them said something to me. I'll read through this, but I'll just go through this, all right? But so this is the police report that I've actually submitted for this, because someone ended up pulling a knife, trying to stab me, and try to steal my chain that I got for my birthday, which is the first birthday present I've ever gotten. That was a very meaningful gift to me, which, But anyway, so this was the 14th of the 5th, 2024. So the 24-year-old male who blah 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 addressed the police, currently studying landscape construction. I was at the Full Moon Hotel with X person. The time was around 6:30. We left the hotel, went to the bottle shop next door, got some takeaway beers, bought a 6-pack of Great Northern. We decided to walk to the McDonald's, get a feed before going home. We walked down to the McDonald's, the Macca's, and went inside to order food. It was probably close to 8 p.m. I ordered the meal at the self-service kiosk. I sat the beers on the table. While sitting at the table, I noticed two girls sitting at the table close by. I started playing with my hair to try to get their attention. I probably was a bit tipsy from when I was drunk, from what I had drunk, but I was still perfectly okay. Charlie got up to walk around for the counter to collect food, and once he came back to say, we'll start eating our dinner, I wasn't paying attention to the two girls anymore and did not get any reaction from there. While I was eating my dinner, the guy who was sitting at the table across from the two girls was sitting, looking over at me and said the words to the effect of, "Stop staring at me." He was quite aggressive when he said it. I had not interacted with the guy at all before this. The guy just kept repeating the same thing, "Look at me." I then looked at him and stared straight back at him. I wanted him to leave me alone, but I did not speak to him. The girl that was sitting between us tried to intervene and stop us from staring at each other. She was saying things like, "Stop it, break it up," and I then stood up and leave. I was thinking this is just not worth it, the trouble, so I took the food and the beers and Charlie and I walked out. So I noticed the guy I was staring at was on the phone when I was walking out of Macca's. So it would have been 8:39 p.m. So just imagine two girls and one guy just like staring him off, just trying to let him know I'm not on shit. No, I'm not backing down, pretty much. Thingy and I walked out of the Macca's and walked onto Rainbow Street at Sandgate Station, catch the train home. And as we got on the Rainbow Street, in front of the bar there, all of a sudden a car pulls up, and I'm not sure, but about 3 to 5 guys jumped out of the car. I don't know what sort of car it was. It was dark when everything happened. Charlie and I were in the corner of Rainbow Street, and whatever it was, hearing yelling, I turned around, a couple guys were about 5 meters and yelling aggressive. I pulled out my phone and wallet and gave it to my mate. I knew these guys were coming to attack me, and then I cannot recall anything about the guy attacked me except they were young, 15 to 18 years old, of the car they got out. I cannot recall what car it was. I got Charlie to take a photo of me when I got home. I can put a photo of that, what I look like. And then I attended Sandgate to report this. So the point of this one is, and this bit is it just doesn't add up. So you're going to see in this story, there's a lot of things that just don't add up. So I was in Macca's. Look, I was staring at this guy. He was dressed nice. He was from the area, clearly, or just a well-off family. So these 5 kids were like ice addicts or something like that. So he's called someone. I'm not saying he called them, but how does a car of 5 random people randomly pull up after this, and then these kids just jump out, pull a knife on me, try to steal my chain and stuff like that? Mind you, it wasn't flashy. It was a silver chain, but it was nice. And then this stuff happens, which, you know. Anyways, so that happens, and I get home. I'm so grateful my mate gave me this. We had to run off and hide in some house, like his house in some back street, Uber home and stuff. And, you know, it was the first time I've ever had a knife pulled on me, and shit was scary. It was like, you know, I could have got stabbed or something. But look, so after that, that's when that's happened, and then I've gone to... So what I did with this certificate or whatever, I wanted it so I could use that to... I don't know. Look. Anyways, I went to this doctor to try and get the mental health check, alright? So he examined me. He tells me I was assaulted, which I was. He has a tender glaze on his left of his head, graze on his right knee. Doesn't seem a mental injury and isn't particularly anxious about post-injury. So that was the doctor, which, no, I did not trust that doctor. But anyway, so after all that, I've actually gone to my good doctor. So this doctor's seen me go through some hard shit. He's helped me with a lot of stuff in my life. So who am I concerned? My good doctor. I'm the regular GP of the above patient who was allegedly assaulted recently and has since felt uneasy regarding possible target attacks. I have no reason to believe there's any concern regarding his mental health currently, but I have organised regular follow-ups with him to check on this. I would appreciate further investigation into this matter. Bit more of a, you know, reasonable reply. But as you can see on this, I've actually struggled with alcohol here. I've been submitted for acute alcohol withdrawal. I've had serious alcohol problems in my life. But this year, I was able to finally quit drinking, smoking, everything, get my whole entire life together. I was training very hard. I'd get up at 3:30 in the morning, have a cold shower, and run for nearly 3 to 4 hours, like nearly 4 or 5 days a week, just because I wanted to try win the bridge, and like I was training hard. But yeah, so that was that, got that, and then I went back and I submitted this. So I'm not going to say it's 100% exactly, but that's that. But where is the start of this? Alright, so I think I wrote this up to try give it to the actual police station. No, this is the thing. So I went back to the Sandgate police, and once I had the mental health check and all that sort of stuff. So old mate I've tried submitting it to, he's told me, look mate, this is not like, you can't submit this stuff or what, or like something along, I had to submit it elsewhere or something like that. And I was like, man, I've just gone and done all the stuff you've told me to do, and now you won't even help me with this. And he pretty much just told me to go to email it online or something like that. And this is where I was getting suspicious, because it was just, mate, you told, the other officer told me to come do this, submit this, and I'd supposedly give you help. But anyways, they tried it. Actually, they submitted under some other thing. It had nothing to do with it. It had something to do with, I don't know, something else, but it was nothing to do with this, all right? So I just want to add on a few more things that I've had to go back and go over. So there's a few more major parts that play a big part of this, all right? So first off was I had a jet ski, right? So I learned to rebuild this jet ski 2 times. I know this jet ski inside and out. Like, I'm so well understanding it, right? So the plan was with my jet ski was to actually sell it at well, this is how well look. This is the point. So I didn't torque one of the pistons bolts correctly at one point, and I put the engine back in. But given I was just like, dude, I can't sell this to someone and blows off and it's going to come back to me. I was just like, look, I'm going to pull the whole entire engine out and do the whole, just to tie it up 1 or 2 bolt. I think it was 1 bolt to torque it correctly. So I did all that, got the torque wrench, did it all correctly. I actually get a new bolt because the bolt was threaded. But anyways, did that, and that's how well I know this jet ski. I know it inside out. Had it, turned it on, had it running, everything was right? So I was going to sell this jet ski, hopefully get $8,000 to $10,000 for it, so I could help fund my tools for my business, ute, and all the other things I needed, like pay off my fines and all whatever it was. So when all this stuff was happening, right, there was a day where, because when I'd go to take it out, when I'd go to take it out with my friends, the IBR thing would come on, and then I'd have to play around with it, and it just throw me an error that didn't make sense. But anyways, on the day that I went to take it out, when this happened, it was not there. So I actually took it out, went to go test it out, and just one more last ride before with my friend and stuff, had it running and everything. It was all perfectly running, all brand new, all done, and did all that. And then so I've taken it out, and only just have got past like the red and green signal signs or whatever, probably like a couple 100 meters out. The jet ski sunk. So out of nowhere, the jet ski sunk. So this was my ticket to money, and money to help fund me business and all this stuff, which I was working very hard towards. So there was that, and mind you, my friend that I took out, he couldn't swim, that I only learned that day. So out of nowhere, had the jet ski for four or 5 years, probably 4 years, and magically sunk. So this is not the first time. I've had the carbon seal go on it once, which was down the Gold Coast, but it didn't sink. But it made me have to learn to rebuild the whole thing. But point of this is that sunk. So shout out to Sandgate Marine, Shorncliffe Marine Rescue, whatever. They were able to bring it back in, but I had to swim back to the pier, all that stuff. But I'm telling you right now, the pipe that blew off made the thing sink. Every single bolt on it was done correctly. I made sure it's not one of those things, and it didn't sink before, like, we just were about to start having fun and stuff like that. So there was that. So I've gotten the jet ski back, lost me license or whatever. I don't know, whatever that happened, and gotten it back to mine, right? So I'm like, I've got to pull it apart again and try rebuild it, before the water ruins it, because it's salt water. So I've got it out the front. I've taken the top head off and had to do it all again, ripped as much out as possible and stuff like that. And long story short, I've rebuilt the whole thing again. I've had to do it all again to spec. Everything's right. It takes a long time, a lot of money too. Done it all, and then I've gone to sell it. So I couldn't get it started, right? Because it was something to do with a solenoid, and I was to the point where I just wanted to sell it. So it was some electrical thing. Everything, the engine was perfectly fine, all that sort of stuff. But the point with this is I ended up going to try sell it. Sold it to some guy, sold it cheap. Thank God I sold it cheap to him, a couple $1,000s. But he's ended up sending me a message saying, hey, mate, the timing chain snapped. And I'm like, that's not possible, mate. And not only is their timing chain snapped, but someone has put tissue paper in the top of the head engine. So someone has broken into my house, pulled my jet ski apart, put tissue paper in the head. Anyone that knows engines, you do not put the head on and I don't even have tissue paper to put in the bloody thing. Tissue paper in there to do whatever, and then to find out the timing chain was snapped. Mind you, he couldn't even get it to turn over on the first one, because paid someone else to fix it for him, or like this, he'd do the electrical stuff for him, and he ended up saying, like, pulling it apart and seeing the timing chain wasn't there. Mind you, like, I have photos of the whole thing rebuilt. I could show you how many times I've rebuilt it. I know this thing inside out. So someone with the house key, we rent this house, has broken into this house and gone into the garage and used a timing chain snapper. It's not like just snap. It used a timing chain cutter, timing chain breaker, or whatever they're called, and broken the timing chain and put tissue paper in the head of my jet ski to try jeopardize it for me. So this is another one of those things that just do not make sense. It's not fair to me, you know. Someone out there, which I do believe is Theresa Lyons, I do believe she's the owner of this house and just does shit to, you know, screw with me. She's clearly got access to this house, but it's been able to get someone to go in here when we weren't here and do this shit. But this is what someone that does that is not right in the head, that has too much money and can pay people to do anything they want. And unfortunately, this woman has got this grudge against me for whatever reason, because who knows, all right? So that's this bit, and I'm going to start another one and do another bit. So that's another thing, you know, just one of those things that doesn't add up. And, you know, went to the police, what do they say? Don't worry about it and all that other stuff. So there's that part. Is now what I've written. I've written a 3-page thing to explain this in great detail, all right? So this is where it starts to get crazy, all right? So I've been dealing with this issue for nearly close to 2 months straight. It has started to happen to me once I finished up my first term at the TAFE Ashport TAFE. I've gone to TAFE front office twice, complaining about not learning a thing. The second time crying, nothing would happen. There is 3 weeks left. I have not learned a single thing, and we are supposed to start fencing, which I highly doubt we will proceed with. I'm doing certificate free in landscape construction. I have not learned to quote retaining walls or fencing, the 3 things I wanted to get out of this course. Mind you, the one thing that really got me with this course too, I'm going to say 80% of every single person in this course reference someone to the army to me, how they're related to someone in the army, how they're someone in the Navy, or somewhat related to someone in the army, or know someone in there, right? And the thing is, this guy named David, I'm just going to put his name out there. I might put his last name out there if I can find it. He actually convinced me to go to the Anzac Parade, which at the time I just thought it was a good thing. Go pay respects to the fallen veterans or whatever. But he convinced me to go to this, like the Anzac Parade in Brisbane, which, you know, I've never done before. And there's like maybe 2-3 people, I think it was the Chinese women, they didn't mention anything about the army to me, but every single other person mentioned some sort of bit about it. Anyways, I've had to deal with someone using seriously advanced technology which they are able to communicate to me with and mess with my senses. So this is an example. I've lost my confidence. It will come and go. My posture is affected. I try to run and encounter back issues. The list goes on, and I'm just explaining the major ones. So it's a bit more, I'll get into this. So I went from being extremely confident, I mean, like, I'd get up and I'd train. I'd run for hours and hours. I was extremely fit. I'd get up and go to the TAFE all the way in the Gold Coast, train whatever. I'd train every single day very hard. And then I got to the point where this started happening to me. I could not think. I was slowed down. I could not read properly. I couldn't think. Everything in my life just went down. And like I used to, you know, and then one day I just could not, everything, I was just being affected, impaired or something like that, right? So, going on to this more, it will explain this a bit, but look, one thing to explain this, when I'd be in the shower, right, it will say this in a bit, I'd cover my ears, right, with the water. I'd cover my ears, and I'd be able to, it'd cover my ears and block my ears, and I could start to think clearly again, like if something was using to, I don't know, do something to me so I wasn't able to think clearly, but I'd cover my ears in water in the shower, and I could start to think clearly again, which is just crazy, all right? So not a single person has come to talk to me and tried to help me. I've gone to my doctor I trust to give me a mental health check to find out. The first appointment was he was sick with COVID, to find out he wanted to still work, to find out I have to wait another week. They give me another doctor who starts going on about schizophrenia and other issues I don't mention. I have to deal with these issues on my own to no help. I jump in the shower, cover my ears with water, and I get my clear train of thought back. Only once my ears are covered, I get my correct posture back. But once I unblock the water over my ears, I go back to slouching and not thinking as quickly as I would. I've gone to my doctor who I trust. They've seen me go through severe alcoholism. He has seen me. He's seen me when my father lost his finger at work, when I was going through a very hard time dealing with him leaving my family, and we were younger, and going for a woman who had nothing to offer. Nonetheless, the doctor listened to me and understood I'm completely mentally fit and healthy. I've gone from a severe alcoholic and drug addict in the past to working for one of my best friends to close for a year, to not get paid most weeks, to now finally starting my own business with another one of my best friends. I've gone to work yesterday at my boss, as the boss, making the decisions and dealing with this issue. I let my friend, whatever his name is, my best friend, know, look, I have to deal with some serious stuff happening to me, and he could notice I've not been the same the past 2 months. So what I did, right, I was that keen on just proving that I was perfectly fine. I went and did a job, so we had to take colour-bond fence off and replace the sleeper and stuff, put it back in, and string line and a few other little things. But I'm telling you, it's not easy when you cannot think clearly, and you have to get your other mate that doesn't know how to do it really to help you do it. But this is how determined I was to do this. And mind you, we got paid and everything, so that's that. So next, and hold on, let me just make sure. 2 months, and it's because no one's tried to help me. I don't know what I'm saying. I think this is the next page, and it's not because no one has tried to help me. I've proved I'm no longer on drugs. I have ADHD. I'll just explain this. I used to have I do not take Vyvanse/dexamphetamine anymore for ADHD. I was on it for the first 2-3 months in the year, and then I was able to come off it. As I've learned to refocus, I want to explain this. So when I used to go out running in the morning and stuff, I used to go out and I used to just stare at an object, a light or something, for like 5 minutes or something, and just get my focus. So that's how I did that. And I learned to refocus. I pulled him aside and let him know something was very serious happening to me. And mind you, he could tell something wasn't right with me, because I went from being like who I truly am to not being myself. And then if I cannot think, like I said, pulling him aside, and something serious happening to me and I cannot think clearly, I need you to take lead. He understood and was ready to go. I've attached photos of the job I did yesterday and was paid after a successful day of work. This was extremely hard to do, as I'm being fucked with while trying to work and operate dangerous power tools. All I have ever wanted to do is start my own business and help my friends and family get out of debt and give them a job so I can get away from the life that I used to suffer. One thing I want to note too is when I was at the TAFE too, there was days where this would be happening to me, talking to me and stuff, trying to just drive me absolutely crazy. And I'd have to use circular saws and stuff like that, and I tried just staying away from that stuff, but I had to. So, I could have lost a finger, could have lost my hand, could have killed myself doing this stuff. But this is how determined I was, because I did not go all this way just to say, not get this certificate. Anyways, at the end of the day, I really need the police to take a very serious look into this. I have no idea how this is happening, although I've looked into a few things. I believe it may be this sound wave/sonic weapon. So, look, I don't know. Look, when I do push-ups on the ground, right? So, say I do push-ups, I could feel like a sound coming down onto me, right? And look, I've just looked into military stuff, and a sonic weapon, the army's got it and all this stuff. It's used to incapacitate people and stuff like that. So you can't tell me they don't have this sort of stuff and whatever. So a sound wave gun, it's sound being shot at you. It's possible. It's not about being possible. It's real. And look, that's that. So I mentioned that, and they're in the army. They've definitely got this stuff. Like mentioned above, when I go in the shower and cover my ears with water and get my train of thought back and my mind goes back to being clear, I've had an extremely hard life. I've tried killing myself multiple times. I've never had a girlfriend. I've been working at Pizza Plaza Boondall. I'm going to blow that out to try to get a normal job and meet a woman with no luck. I've tried going to this TAFE course, but not a single person in this course want to use this certificate for anything anything. And 2 middle-aged Chinese women in my class, the Chinese in class. I go to the trade TAFE where every other class has young tradie people in the class just like me. Only one person in the course is doing it to get something out of it. Nearly everyone in the class has gone on about how they related to someone in the army. Dave, an acquaintance in my course, who I thought was a friend, took me to the Anzac Parade, and there were plenty of people there that were quite interested in looking at me. So the thing about this course is, look, this old man Andrew, a retired veteran, was in the army for 50 years or something like that, 40 years, whatever it was, 30 maybe. you can't tell me he needs to know how to do landscape construction. Fair enough, him. There was one other bloke that was the one person I wanted to be friends with in the course, always sit next to Andrew. On the days that I didn't want to come in, Andrew wouldn't be there, and I'd be able to have a nice day and sit next to him. The point is, no one wanted this certificate. The two Chinese women wanted to build, one of them couldn't even speak English. One of them wanted to do a bit of backyard work. This course took me 6 months to get into. This course was so difficult to get enrolled into, and not a single person here shows any interest in why they want to do it. Any interest. Like, I'm telling you, any interest. So, there's that. At the end of the day, whenever I'm near technology power source, I can hear them communicating with a stronger signal. I am not near any, or far away, it goes to near silence. So what I'm referring to here, so I was using power tools, take the battery out, stop. So I do believe this has something to do with frequencies and all that stuff. There's plenty of stuff. Everything uses frequencies. This device uses it. The fridge, pull the fridge out, goes from fuck you, Jack Allen Mead, fuck you, Jack Allen Mead, to pulling it off. It stops. It's not good. Turn the internet off. It stops or weakens and all this sort of stuff. I believe this person doing this is Theresa Lyons, a childhood family friend who I used to be in love with her daughter. I was led on the whole year to believe I was going to end up with her. Them have fucked with me to the point of not wanting a single thing to do with her. I have not seen this woman since I was 15, only ever respected her and her business motto. I had not believed she was in a relationship, but I came to the conclusion a few months ago she was, and then I started to try to get with other women. I had no luck. I give women notes with crystal bracelets and hand-picked seashells from the bay saying the king requires a queen in my social medias and numbers. I never get a text back. I have gone from being extremely fit to being fat so many times in my life. It's just a cycle at this point. I know how to, so I'm just going to show this. I don't have it here, but what the point I'll get to in a little bit is I'd actually get women to add me on social media. They'd give me their numbers. There was one lady I met when I went for a run one day, went to practice for the bridge to bridge. I ended up talking to her, and she ended up adding me on Facebook, messaging me. So I went to go message her once I got back from my run to say, it was a hot day or whatever, because I run in the middle of the day. And instantly blocked. And mind you, this woman, she was happily to add me on Facebook, sent me a message and everything, and then to end up blocked. There's another woman I met down the Gold Coast. I got her number, I got her Instagram, I got her Facebook, I got everything of her. Still got a mobile number. None of the messages go through, none of them, and all this other stuff. There's people that I do run clubs with, I follow on Instagram, then it doesn't end up getting to be followed. Look, I'm not saying I'm getting every single woman in the world, but these women are willingly talking to me, have good conversations, and want to communicate to me, and then to issues like this to occur. Everything, technology, whatever. Next part. So I know how to play, we'll skip that. I see people who are severely overweight and do not take care of themselves with love. My whole life, I've just wanted someone to love me, and I'm yet to find someone. I've worked so hard to get to this point. The reason I do not give up, if what was happening to me was happening to anyone else, they would not be right. But I have had an extremely hard life. I just do not give up no matter what. Growing up, I've always been on the computer because I had no friends, so I understand technology very well. Know there is a lot of stuff out there that people do not believe exists. I've come to the point that there might not be a single thing done about this. I've just learned to deal with it. I am 24 years, a normal 24-year-old young man that has travelled 2 hours via train, 30 minutes via tram, 3.5 kilometres to take through the pissing down rain just to get my business started. The questions in the course ask how to use Pi. Yeah, how to use Pi. This is the thing. The question, the syllable, whatever you want to call it, didn't make sense. How to use pi math equation, and the most questions make no sense. There is never a role taken, and have not even learned to do a thing except butter a few bricks. So I'm going to bring up a picture here now. I don't know if it's here. I will just bring it up on the computer or whatever on the screen. But anyways, so my name in the whole course is back to front. Everyone else's name is first name, last name. Mine's last name first. Don't know why. I think I brought it up once. Nothing happened about it. So there's that. And so there's never a role taken, which, at the end they seem to take the role pretty often when I didn't go because I was just sick of it. There's a lot more I could go on about. If someone could please get the attention of someone who could possibly look into this and help, it would be greatly appreciated. My mother's had to deal with me in this condition. She's overseen me like this. I've told her from the start this was happening, and not only does she believe me, but she She believes that this has been going on for a very long time. Thank you very much, Jack Mead. I've attached photos of my work. I've done yesterday. I've completed with my best friend Gary. This is extremely hard to do, but I got it done because I never give up no matter what. And then this is where I thought I was led on to believe I was not getting with Lauren, or what I'm just going to say, her daughter, right? I'm going to call her that. But so I thought I kept seeing her, kept running. And mind you, I haven't seen her since I was a child. So I was eventually just going to go up to her and talk to her. Instagram, I guess I messaged her a few times, didn't get anywhere with that, but I just kept seeing her out of nowhere. So locations I've seen this woman's daughter, which I've led on for the start of the year. Please check both our phone geolocation. So I told them to check the location of our phone to see that this is real. It could be one big coincidence, but I promise from the bottom of my heart, I know this is true, and stop loving her because I cannot deal with what her mother/person who's doing this to me. Park Road Station morning. I don't have a date on that, but it'd be in there. Boondall to Sandgate. Wasn't a long black dress. I ended up going to Shorncliffe Full Moon Hotel to have a beer. I never do this. Chermside Mecca. So as I was walking past the Chermside Mecca, I seen her walk right in front of me, and then as she walked in front of me, I seen the Ralph Lauren thing or whatever. I'm just gonna say her name, too bad, and her name is Lauren. So this day, right, so look, around this time, I got out of the car, right, so I was with my brother this day that this happened. So there was a white Prado sitting directly across from me, right, it had its lights on, so I could not see the person in it. So the white Prado, I believe Theresa was in, could not see as I was started smoking after this again, all right. Oh, no, this is towards the end of the TAFE. I just started smoking here and there a little bit. So the white Prado, I believe Theresa, I could not see as I was stoned, and parked across from Jared's Mercedes, was walking past Mecca store with Jared, and she was right out in front of me, so I didn't look because I was cooked. But anyways, Sandgate midday, having a picnic with her friends, was wearing a yellow spotted dress, who I walked close to 10 kilometres to give her a purple flower, for her to be gone on my way back to give to her. And so that was the first time I seen her. I think that was the 18th of February. I know Lauren is a nurse and have seen her on the tram. On Valentine's Day, I picked about 15 flowers of all different types, to the highest quality ones, to give them to her, to not only on the tram, just to chuck them in the bin. One guy on the tram even said to me, I know everyone's looking at you weird, mate, but the girl that's getting this is the luckiest girl in the world. So there's that. And mind you, that day, I went and sat at the tram station. I went to go to the tram. I was like, I'll wait here for 20 minutes or something. Some guys sat next to talk to me for a bit. But a woman that looked to a 1-to-1 replica of this woman went to the ticket machine, and the ticket machine wasn't even working. And then I went up and helped her, and it looked exactly like her, but it wasn't her because she had tattoos. So this is just stuff to mess with me. But I'm telling you, I've made a 5-minute video on TikTok about I'm about to post on the app. I explain the whole situation since no one has done a thing. The video on my phone was corrupted, so I filmed a video about this. The video got corrupted instantly, trying to expose this. Since the situation, video got corrupted, which has never happened to me. So I've had this Mac Mini for 8 years or something like that. 6. Well, I've had it for like 6. Yeah, 5, 6. Look, 6, 7 years. I've never had a single issue with it. But the day I go to make this video, it stops working, and yeah. So now it won't even boot up. Yeah. I have had to make a second video on my mum's old Samsung phone, which I'm waiting to release, and I have no other avenue. So please just do some investigating and get to the bottom of this. I wish I was making this stuff up, but unfortunately not. Would like to know I'm having to work around very dangerous power tools why this is occurring. If workers were injured due to my incompetence, it would be on me but before I work, I let them know if I cannot think or I'm not just right, take charge, because at the end of the day, it was just getting harder and harder. Then that's when he stood up and took charge, and yeah, so that was the thing with my mate. Now, this is where it gets crazy. Now, this is where it involves people from my childhood that are in the military, in the army, I guess, all right? So, this is where we're going to, got heaps of stuff here, right? So, started to piss me off as, one night at 3 a.m. I was manipulated into walking to Zilmere with my bags packed full of, from my address, thinking I was walking to Theresa Lyons' house in Zilmere to meet her. Once there, I was soon to learn no one there was there. I was lucky not to get robbed walking around. So look, point of this was I generally thought I was going to run into Theresa, meet her or whatever, and catch up with her. But how this happened, right? I was on my computer. It was like I was on Google Maps or something like that, and she'd say, go there or something like that, meet me there or something like that. And then I was manipulated, because the thing is, I love this woman. I'm telling you, I loved her. I respected her. I thought good things were happening, but all this stuff happened, and I'm just trying to think if this happened before all the talk and stuff happened, all right? So that area at the night was packed, things I valued. Yeah, so that area at the night packed with things I valued. One morning, I was manipulated into walking to the bus stop at Sandgate Road, blah, blah, blah. I was going to pick me up, talk to me, catch up. I only did all this in the hope I was going to see Lauren. I was in love with Lauren, but the woman has now driven me away from being with a dream girl, in a sense, to never wanting to see her ever again. So this woman really took advantage of me, and, you know. Alright, so this is where it, gets to the army stuff, alright? So this is a very long video, so I might split it up. So at 12 years old, I cut my car that bad. I convinced anyone that I fell off a push bike, the gears, so I ended up slicing my arm. Teacher, so this is just going on about some shit that happened in my childhood, but it links back to someone that, you know, is in the army, and you just listen. Teacher's name, Dane Fitzpatrick. He's an evil man, not a good person. So at 11 years old, I used to hang myself in front of my mother, trying to kill myself, because no one ever cared or did anything. At 11 years old, I put rat poison in a hot Milo and drank it, and was happy to die knowing it would be my last drink ever. No one ever talked to me or helped me about it, so I had a lot of issues growing up. Went to school, my arm was completely sliced up with a razor blade. The teacher didn't say a single thing. Went to a Catholic school. You'd think maybe the teacher would say something to me, maybe show some concern, but you just never know what people will do this day and age. So when I have gone for so at the start of the year, when I've gone for a walk around the city on the January to February, go to the museum, I've seen Aidan Allen, which is someone I used to go to school to, so I've actually seen this man multiple times this year. So I was at Fitness Cartel once in Virginia a few months back, and I started randomly seeing him there, and I seen Aidan Allen having lunch at Guzman's, South Bank. I also seen Jade Weeks running with someone over the Goodwill Bridge. So Jade Weeks I also did swimming with. I've got nothing against her, as she's never done anything wrong with me. But one thing I do remember from when I was a child, when I was at a swimming carnival in Dubbo, is her mother, Sally Ann Cranston, mentioned that she said something about Theresa Lyons, and she said, I think Theresa Lyons is an evil bitch. And the reason I remember that so much is because I didn't believe that at all, and it's something that's stuck in my head to this day, so it seems to be adding up there. But anyways, running with someone over the Goodwill Bridge near South Bank, so there's that. So there's just a lot of stuff here. Alright, so this is the bit of proof, the bit of evidence I have on Theresa Lyons. It is not much, but it's the tiniest bit of evidence I can use to try and expose this woman, alright? So, at Good Price Pharmacy Warehouse in Deagon, there was a window poster that looked exactly like Theresa Lyons. It only had been removed there the past few weeks. So I shop at the Fresh and Save, which is this shopping centre which there's only like 4 locations in Queensland, and 3 of them in Brisbane, 1 north and 2 south. So this woman lives in Bathurst or Orange in New South Wales, and they supposedly have an $11 million penthouse at the Gold Coast Casino in the Gold Coast, or what, a Star Casino in the Gold Coast. So not only does this woman have money, she has multiple businesses, but I've got a screenshot of this woman liking the Fresh and Save page. Now, you cannot see this woman's likes on Facebook anymore because she took them off because I was able to get into her likes and see that she liked this. So, Good Life Price Pharmacy. Indeed, and there was a big poster that looked exactly like Theresa Lyons. So when all this started happening, the poster magically was taken down. Big poster, magically taken down. Went there, looked for security cameras to see if I get footage. Of course, there's none in the direction. I've looked into Google trying to locate images that someone may have uploaded on Google reviews. So like someone saying good picture or like review of a business close by. I wanted to say like, look at this, like see the image there, wasn't there, everything's gone. From the chemist, surrounding store, reviews from the chemist or surrounding stores to find 0 images online anymore. I'm very tech smart and can guarantee this woman has these images removed. I will continue to gather as much evidence as possible, as is this very big case that dates back into my childhood. When I was 10 years old, now this is just something, I'm not saying this is linked to it, but this is just something that's happened to me. So we're still staying on the topic of Theresa Lyons here. This is just what I went to the police with because this is what was going through my head at the time. When I was 10 years old, I was traumatized when catching the school bus home. One of my now best friends ran in front of the school bus and got hit by a car speeding and went 3 meters in the air. I was the only one to see it. To this day, I can remember the green XL car the woman drove to hit him. On the corner of where that happened, X-Grade's Place, James in Kelso, the street corner right next to it, was James Barnett Drive. My best friend from high school killed himself at 18. His name was William James Barnett. He was a foster kid and had a very hard life. And this is where it's kind of crazy because the last time I ever seen him before he passed away was at the 1818 Hotel Pub, a pub Theresa Lyons owns. Yeah. I had not seen Will in a long time. Was so happy to see him. I gave him the biggest hug and was the happiest I've ever seen him. I did not attend Will's funeral because I was held at my old high school. It was extremely hard for me attending growing up. Could not deal with seeing the people. Blah blah blah. Give a very hard time. Friends. I also blah blah blah. So that was that. And now this is like linking stuff up to people in the army and all that stuff. And then I'm going to put up a few photos and videos of people because at one point I was being followed by people in the army. I'm going to say because there were people that I'm going to just say look like that. I'm going to put these videos up to people. These look like normal people that capture strain. They might be and they might not be. But it got to the point where they stopped coming. Every single day where I'd go out, I'd see people wearing like army camouflage and stuff like that. Not just like 1, 2 people. I mean heaps and heaps of people. And it just was something that was messing with me. But it eventually stopped. But anyways, so the army, Aiden Allen. So this is just what happened when we were kids. We started catting ourselves in school. It was nothing serious. It was just doing it because we were just being stupid. 11 years old. So Jade Weeks, she's in the Air Force, right? So I used to have Jade on Snapchat, had her on Snapchat since I was a child. So only this year she's deleted me from Snapchat on Snapchat. So I was friends with her on Snapchat for 10 plus years, and only that last year she's deleted me out of nowhere. So she's in the Air Force. Chad Meal deleted me out of nowhere on thing. I don't really want to get into that. Don't worry about that. So Army Chris Anderson. So this guy went to skill set with me. So mind you, this guy was a very good friend of mine. So got me started smoking weed when I was always trying to get me to take MDMA tablets, saying he's addicted. So he'd always bring weed and a bong and stuff to school. So we went to an alternative school, so he kind of get away with that sort of stuff. But out of nowhere, he randomly came to school, like he joined a couple months into the school, and every single day he'd bring weed, and towards the end he'd always be taking MDMA tablets and just saying he was addicted and seemed to just want to, But But eventually, because of that influence, mind you, I never wanted to drink alcohol or anything. I started smoking marijuana, which did have a big effect on my life. And then I met Theresa Lyons through the Bathurst Swim Club. So that was just back to that. I went to school. Is that? But hold up, is that everything? So look, that is pretty much anything. And the other thing, the Chris Anderson, the guy in the army, so out of nowhere, I was like, I'm going to add him on Facebook, see if I can just talk to him, get any information out of him, to end up finding out that he actually deletes me off Facebook. So he adds me as a friend, we're friends for like a day or two, and then he blocks, and then I'm gone, completely blocked. So that happened, and yeah, so pretty much the whole entire point of this video is to expose Theresa Lyons. So now, this woman's Facebook profile, alright? So I'm going to pull this up, alright? So this is her Facebook profile picture. Look, I'm going to blur out her children because I'm a good person. But this is her profile picture there. I'm going to get rid of those. But you can see that this woman, she is fucked in the head, right? So this woman's probably like 50 years old or something like that, right? So she has gotten a black marker on whatever, Facebook, and blacked out her teeth so it looks like she has fangs, because she is not right in the head. She is clearly evil. I believe she's rich. From one of my friends, I found out they have an $11 million penthouse at the Gold Coast Star Casino. Local town talk is they're drug dealers, which wouldn't surprise me. But point of this is I actually flew down to where this woman was from and went and confronted her ex-husband about this, and went and showed him some of this information just to see if he cared or had any interest. So he was one day wait, went back the next day, read over it, and pretty much told me that she barely remembers me. She did the tiniest bit of swimming with me. Mind you, we swam with Olympic swimmers. We stayed at the same hotels together. I know this woman very well. For someone that doesn't know me too well, I'd hope she'd show a bit of concern or something about that, but her ex-husband pretty much just told me to move on with my life, and he can take care of his own daughter or whatever. But yeah, so end of this is, I'm going to show a bit more evidence, but I ended up going to my my boss that I used to work at Pete's place with, because there used to be detectives, they used to go there that I remember. I ended up walking up there one night, giving him this paperwork. When I was scared, just handed it to him, walked out in the hopes that he'd be able to maybe help me out. So I ended up running into him, and he told me that he personally handed it to him. So nothing still come from it. You'd think maybe they'd just come ask me a question or two. It's been nearly a year since this stuff has happened. So it is actually, a lot of it stopped somehow, which, I counteract. I actually use like jamming devices and all this other stuff to counteract it, which is what you got to do. See, this just happens. It just goes blank. But so that was that. But anyways, I'm gonna show you this. So this is the one bit of evidence I have that proves this woman has something to do with this. That's her daughter in a thing. What do you call it? Cadets. But I'm not gonna show that face off because she doesn't deserve that. She has nothing to do with this. And funny enough, I went to the police and all this stuff, or her family has me supposedly blocked on Facebook. So, mind you, I haven't seen her since I was 15. I only started seeing this year. So I couldn't search her account, couldn't search one of her daughters, and I couldn't search her other daughters. They were all blocked on there. Her daughter, yeah, there was that. And then, so this is the fresh and save stuff. So I was able to view her likes. I was on her Facebook page, and now you can no longer see her likes magically after this happens. So that's fresh and save. We look at fresh and save. We go to the fresh and save page, fresh and save. Mind you, these people have multiple businesses. Point is, I don't have the internet on at the moment, but point is, there is like 3 fresh and saves. 2 of them in South Brisbane, I think, and one's in Logan and one's in a different place, and one is where I live. So I don't think this woman lives anywhere near me. The only reason I can imagine she has anything to even like the fresh and save page is because I shop there, but not really because I shop there, but because that poster was there and stuff like that. But it's the only thing I can link to this woman to show people that this has something to do with. So 2 things: this woman's Facebook profile picture. Who does this stuff? Someone that is evil. This woman has too much money and she clearly has people in the Australian Army that can do anything. She set up a whole entire TAFE course to mess with me because money's power in the world we have. But look, at the end of the day, the point I want to get to this video is I want to get this message out. I want people to know. I want this woman to go to jail for the rest of her life because she's behind this. And if she's done it to me, I imagine she could do it to other women, other people. So that's pretty much it. This is a long video, but I wanted to explain my crazy experience with all this stuff. This stuff hasn't completely stopped, so like, the thing is, I cover my ears, and if I put pressure on my ears and stuff like that, I look into how frequencies work, like sound and stuff like that, so it allows sound frequently, so it's like I go this. So I push it onto my ears. I can't hear it when I'm not doing it, but I push in. It says, fuck you, Jack Alan Mead, which is my name, and it is continuous. I have to go to sleep like this all day, every day. I have to hear this shit. But you know what? I just fucking deal with it. I've been living with it for a year, so I just put it at the back of my head. So that's what it is. If the Australian Defence Force could be investigated. Also, one other thing is, I forgot about a few little things. So, randomly throughout the middle of the year, I had an epileptic seizure. Out of nowhere, I was perfectly healthy, perfectly fit. It felt like it was coming on. On that day, I was supposed to go out, and I was going to try to get a girlfriend, or like go out to the clubs to get the girls or whatever, and to just someone keeps saying to me, oh, I've got a good feeling about tonight, good feeling about tonight, and then to have an epileptic seizure out of nowhere. I was doing the park run, felt like it was about to have something weird was happening. Anyways, I get home later that day, and out of nowhere, I start feeling weird again, and then I end up having a seizure, waking up in hospital. So there was that, and then at night, there would be times, I'm telling you, I know I don't have videos, but I wish I took videos, but there'd be times where there'd just be military. I live North Brisbane, there's the Air Force Base Southside, but there would be times where I'd go out and there'd just be military aircraft circling the sky for weeks on end, and you know, I could not go to sleep for a very long time, and a lot of bad stuff was happening. It was very scary what happened to me. I'm only alright because I'm very strong-minded, and I've just learnt how to counteract this by blocking certain signals and all other sorts of stuff. But yeah, so this is the story about that. The Australian Defence Force needs to be investigated. This woman needs to be investigated. It's not going to be easy because she has military technology, and they're not about to give it out. If she can set up a whole entire TAFE course to screw with me, why, so maybe the police will do something, maybe they won't, but these people live in Bathurst. This woman's name is Theresa Lyons. I hope she goes to jail for the rest of her life, or maybe, also I've gone out and emailed people trying to expose what this person did to me from the region I live in, or where she's from. I've had her ex-husband try and get in contact with my mother again, and say something, see now, head goes blank. Say something like to stop saying something, stop going on about it. But the thing is, I know this woman personally. What annoys me is this woman hasn't reached out. She can reach out to my mother, she can reach out to me, and we can sit down and talk about this. But it hasn't happened because it is this woman. And I'm telling you, that's it. That's the story. This is a long video, but this is the craziest shit that's ever happened. It's the craziest shit that's ever happened to me. Point of this video is all I wanted to do last year, go to TAFE, start my own landscape construction business, and start working and make my dreams come true through hard work. All of that went downhill. I ended up getting my certificate like about 8 months in because I had to keep going back and forth because I didn't have any help to do the work with and stuff like that. On the last day before I was able to pass, I was about to be told I was having to re-enroll and stuff like that, but luckily I was able to get it done that day. Days I'd go down there and get help, the teachers wouldn't be there and stuff like that. The whole entire TAFE was changed. I actually wanted to start an air conditioning business. There was an air conditioning place where we were doing our project. There was a electrician, air conditioning sign and stuff saying they were there. I wanted to actually network with people there. That sign was taken down a couple months into it, out of nowhere. Anyways, once I went back to the TAFE towards the end of it, they actually put so many signs and everything was different. The whole entire TAFE was pretty much different. And yeah, there's all these different teachers. But yeah, so that's it. I hope Andrew Middleton suffers, goes to jail for the rest of his life, because he's definitely got something to do with it. He'd mess with me, it's caught TAFE and stuff like that, just saying stupid shit. and he's clearly got something to do with this. So start at the bottom, work your way up, and hopefully this can just get out there and people can know about this. So this is what has happened to me. All I've ever wanted was love, and I got manipulated into believe that I was going to see this woman's daughter so I could at least talk to her and hopefully get the girl I loved. But point of this is that didn't happen, and I still got to deal with stupid shit when I go out and on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my story. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, so yeah, that's it. I hope Theresa Lyons goes to jail for the rest of her life. She deserves it. Supposed drug dealers, money launderers, whatever. But having an $11 million penthouse at the Star Casino, owned a couple businesses, I don't think that happens. So yeah, that's that. Anyways, thank you for listening. It's a long video, but yes, that's the story. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Hopefully some justice happens for Jack, because I deserve it. And I don't deserve this stuff. And it still happens to me. Like, I can't even think as quick as I used to. It's so annoying. It's like, you know, I have to combat this stuff, which, you know, all I want to do is work a normal job and have a normal life. But, you know, I have to deal with crap every single day. But it is what it is. So hopefully this will do something. Have a good day. I'll see you later. Love ya. So what I do is I came up with an idea, right? So I was like, I'll obviously get them to meet there. So what I do, right, is I get these little bags, right? This is what someone that has a heart of love does, all right? So it's got these little love bracelets in here and all this stuff, little seashells that were picked with love, mate. You know, this is like, you know, I've given these. Oh, look, we'll just do this and then I'll get back into that. So it had a note in it, right? So it's got a note. So this is what I do. So I would write, the king, which is me, requires a queen. Jack Mead, I just write 88 because I like number. Would you like to go on a date with me? So this other one didn't exactly have I pretty much had this, and then on the back it said, do you want to meet me at this shop, like the takeaway shop or whatever it was, cafe, next to the cafe in the next day or whatever, in at a certain time and date. So what I've gathered, like, this girl's obviously young, you know, like she's working cafe. I thought she'd be 18 or something, right? So at the time I was 24 years old and I'm still young, you know. But point of this is, I go there the date and time, right? And it's the next day and she's not there. She's actually working. So I'm just like, oh well, look, she's not coming. Or, oh no, maybe it was the next day. And because I gave her 2 days, so I said either this day or that day. And because I knew she might have been working the next day or whatever. And like, because she was at work, she come to take my food and I just gave her this. I just gave her the bag and she took it. And so that happened. And then, so that's happened. And then, so look, a couple days later, right? So she didn't appear. So I think I went to the place at the time and then I seen she was working and I was like, whatever, you know, just move on, try another one, just try someone else. And then anyway, so that happened. Then like a day or two later, I'm walking home and then I see the police out the front of my house and I'm like, shit, who knows what this is for, right? So I go there, go home, and then the police are like, we want to talk to you, Jack. So apparently that I've given this woman this note to, she's gone to the police about me about this. And I'm thinking, so this woman, fair enough, I was a patron at her thing. But mate, I'm not scary, man. I'm not like, meet me here, meet me there or whatever, trying to intimidate her or whatever. But I gave her this in the hope she'd be there. She didn't have to go. She could put it in the bin. But the police are now at my house saying, look, Jack, you can't be giving it to this girl. Look, for what I found out, she was 17 years old. Look, fair enough. But at the end of the day, I can understand 17. I can understand. But I didn't know that. But it was to the point where she has gone to the police, or her parents have, or her parents have, and have filed a report to come and see me because I gave her one of these and asked her if she would want to go on a date. And that was pretty much it. So that ended up being that. But, so that was that. So that was the first police encounter with this sort of stuff. Anyways, pretty much told not to go there. She ended up not working there anymore. People at the cafe love me because I go there. You know, they love you when they know you by your first name and stuff like that. So that was that encounter. So we're going to get on to the next one. All right, so this is encounter number 2, all right? So this is when I was having a bad day this day. So I was catching the bus and I was going to Westfield, right? So when I'm on the bus, I was there and then like I usually sometimes have bracelets on my arms, right? So I had I had this. I'll get this other one. So I had this, and then I got off the bus, and there was this young girl that was at the light. She was kind of cute, and she had like, she was going to work. She worked at Kmart or whatever. I had this on my hand. I said to her, hey, like, do you like crystals? And she said, yeah, I'm kind of into them or whatever. And she really liked it, and I was like, I gave this to her. I was like, do you want this? And then she took it, and then she put it in her pocket. And, you know, she wandered off, but she had a smile on her face, you know. So I was just like, that's nice little gesture. But anyways, later that night, I tried, because I just gave up on social media. I was like, I'm going to try and give her a note, one of these or whatever, right? So I was like, I'll try to do that. So I went to Kmart and found her, and then out of nowhere, she randomly said, I don't know how she would have known this, but she said to me, my manager said to me, I can't take notes off anyone. And I was like, well, that's very strange how your manager knows that you can't take notes off anyone. This is the first time I've ever gone to give it to someone, and it's of course when you're at work. So that happens. But anyways, later in the night goes on. I end up walking around Kmart later. I don't know what I'm doing there. But anyways, he pretty much just tries kicking me out of the store. Manager comes up to me, tries kicking me out of the store. I have a bit of standoff with him. He's like, mate, you can't be giving it to the girls here or whatever. They're too young or something like that. Which, you know, I don't know how young this woman is. I met her at the bus. I gave her this crystal bracelet. But look, point was, he was like, I was like, I gave her this bracelet. If she doesn't want it, give it back to me. So he goes back and talks. And then he comes back out and he tells me, I can't give it back to you. I need to leave the store. And I'm like, mate, why can you not give it to me if she doesn't want it or whatever? And then it gets to the point where she clearly doesn't want to give it back because I gave it to her outside of work. And this dickhead is like, who knows? Who knows what he's doing? Who knows what people will do for money? Or, you know, you just never know. So now old mates, now she's not giving it back because I gave it to her out of work, and, you know, like, she doesn't want to give it back because she really likes that I gave it to her in the first place. But anyways, he somehow knew that I was coming to give her this note, and he wasn't proud that I gave that to her. So we're getting on to the next Kmart story, so I'll just start that one here. So I'm at Kmart again. Look, I do not have luck at Kmart, all right? So I stopped going to Kmart pretty much because of this issue. So look, I was at the checkout one day, and I was just like, damn, this girl's real cute. She gave me one of those nice little smiles, and like, you know when you hit it off one of them, and it's just like, yeah, all right. So what I was like is like, I'll hit her up. I'm trying different techniques. Let me put it this way now. But I was like, I'll give her this, all right? I'll give her one of these because I've given to these to women on nights out, and they say this is the most adorable thing in the world. There was one woman that was fallen in love with me because I gave it. But these are on nights out when people are drunk and stuff like that. I want to give it to someone when, you know, meet them. But anyways, the thing is, I gave this woman one of these, right? So I gave it to her at the checkout. So I went to the checkout. I went there the first time, and I was like, I'm coming back. I'm going to go get something else and give it to her. So when I'm waiting for her at the checkout, there's someone there that magically just seems to be talking to her for 10 minutes or trying to check out, struggling to check out for 10 minutes. It's just almost like didn't want me to be able to serve her. But anyways, I end up being served by her again, and I just do that, and I'm like, I want to give you this. And then she takes it, right? So she takes it, puts it in her pocket, does whatever, right? So then that happens, right? So I'm thinking, yes, finally, something is going to work. Something's going to work. One of these dates is going to work. And then, you know what happens? I've gone to Dan Murphy's. I'm like, I'll get beers, go home, you know. Finish up my shopping for the day, all right? On my way out, I see 2 police walking down, and I'm just like, oh, mate, here we go again. Boss, Jack Mead, that you, mate? It's like, yep, that's me. And he's like, mate, we've got to talk to you, mate. And then they sit me down, and then they say, look, mate, you can't be giving these to the girls or whatever. And then it comes back to the point, I'm like, mate, one of them was a woman. I was like, you have children or whatever? Like, would you not like that? But thing is, I pretty much said to the police, I was like, how has old mate found out that I've given this to her at the checkout? So not only does he remember me somehow by memory, the only thing is the cameras, like, do they have the cameras looking right down the registers? Do they? They might, but is he there watching every single move of me in that store? So he has found out and taken this off the woman and called the police again. So let's run a little scenario, right? So let's say I'm the woman, right? So I've been given it as this, and it's like, oh, what's this? I'm either gonna, all right, I might put it in my pocket, I might go put it in the bin, or I might go tell my manager, oh, someone has given me this, which, you know, fair enough. But it's just one of those things that don't up. So the manager apparently knew, which how do you know? How do you know? So, I don't know. Point I'm getting at is, whoever is doing this to me, which I truly believe is Theresa Lyons, has got this thing against me about not ever finding love or getting a girlfriend, because it seems to be the one thing I cannot achieve in life, because it's the one thing I haven't had in life. I've had every other thing I've wanted in life, and this is the one thing I have not been able to achieve, and she seems to be driven on me not getting it. So there's that story, and yeah, so I pretty much don't go to Kmart anymore, but it's just one of those things. Doesn't add up. Fair enough, her manager she went to the manager and said, oh, some guy gave this to me, but at the end of the day, could have just put it in the bin. Could have just, fair enough. But, like, it's just one of those things that just seemed very suspicious at the time, and it's another one of those things, police called. Why do the police have to be called? Why can't you just let it be? But, yeah, so that's that. I can understand. But that is all of this. There's maybe a little bit more. Yeah, so that's it. I'm just trying to think of anything else. So, yeah, that's pretty much, I guess that's pretty much it. But that's for that one. Yeah, I've pretty much just gotten to the point where if I'm going to ask a girl out by this, I'm just going to give him that and say, do you want to go on a date, and then get a response instantly, not wait for them to come with the police or anything like that, because I seem to not have any luck, and it's not like I know these women's ages. That's the reason the police got caught again, I believe, because she was 17 or something like that, but how am I supposed to know, mate? But anyways, that's it. So, any more, I'll add on, but that's more just stuff that's out now. Alright, so, see ya. So the point of all this video is pretty much try and prove that this is Theresa Lyons that has done this to me. I've gone out of my way to investigate as much information as possible and try to put it together to explain it in my best way to show that this has not only happened to me, it could happen to anyone. But the point of this is, I truly believe this is Theresa Lyons. She's clearly friends with people in the Australian Army. The people in the Australian Army, they're doing stuff that are illegal, so imagine, maybe they should be investigated. But at the end of the day, I have now tried my hardest to prove that this is Theresa Lyons. I know it's not very much evidence, but it's the tiniest bit. What kind of woman does these fang stuff at in her 50s? Not only that, her likes were privated after I was able to screenshot the fresh and safe stuff. And this TAFE course should be really investigated, because it took me 6 months to get into this course, and not a single person in this course wanted to be in the course. And that's pretty much it. I've done everything I could, and I really like something to come from this, because I'm just a normal person that has had to live the past year in really stressful situations, and I've just had to learn to live with what's happening to me. and it sucks. So I'd like to say, imagine if this was your child and this happened to you. You wouldn't believe it unless it was someone you loved or, you know, it happened to you. But if you could please just look into this and maybe get somewhere. And where I'm from, these people are known as drug dealers. They're supposedly got an $11 million penthouse at the Star Casino, the Gold Coast. You don't get that running a couple of businesses for well, they've probably owned them for a while, but an $11 million penthouse and not even to live in the Gold Coast, supposedly. But that's all I've got. If at least maybe investigate these people for drug dealing, and if the Australian Army could be investigated, because what kind of retired veteran needs to learn to do a bit of basic landscaping, and apparently has met the President of the United States multiple times and goes on about it and rants about it in class just to annoy me and all these other little things that happened in that class. But that's pretty much it. If you could please do something, it would be greatly appreciated. And that is all. Goodbye. Thank you.